So hey lawyers, I hope you're doing really good. So in this video, we're going to talk about a very important aspect of any kind of legal solutions that you might see around in today's time, and that is AI. More importantly, we're going to talk about hallucinations in AI. So without taking much of your time, let's get started. First thing that we're going to talk about, really important part, is that why does it even hallucinate? That why hallucinations exist in the AI. Second thing, more important, that is like really important, how to extremely reduce the AI hallucinations in law, like from 70% to 0.1% or even less. Okay, so let's get started. But again, like, sorry, before getting started, let me just tell you who I am. So I am Tanesh Prajapati, and I actually help solo practitioners and law firms by integrating custom AI-based systems or workflows in their practice or in their firm, making sure that, of course, like, all the things are like making sure all the systems are completely secured and following all the compliances, making sure that all of the systems are completely secure, highly secured, no data leak, not at all. Okay, no chance of that. Another thing, most important again, is that following all the compliances is one of the most key points that I take care of when I'm building systems. You check out my profile. I actually have added a lot of built a lot of different systems, custom automation systems for different law firms. I mean, specific engineer have created different systems. You can actually see that over here, all of them. Okay, and if you are a lawyer or a law firm, small law firm owner who's actually watching this video, if you want any kind of AI solutions to be discussed around, okay, or if you want any kind of systems or automations to be built for your firm, for your practice, you can just message me on LinkedIn, okay, or you can actually send an email to my email address that I mentioned in the description of this video. But let's first of all get started with our main topic, okay? So why does AI even hallucinates? Why does it even hallucinates at all? Okay, so the very first thing about this is that is the statistical guessing. Now, look, if any of you thinks that AI actually reasons or understands the facts, knows the industry or anything like that, that's not true. Okay, because AI is just a very highly intelligent auto-complete system, basically. It's really good in terms of matching the patterns. Okay, if we're gonna feed AI all the physics of laws that didn't even existed, I mean, if you're gonna teach it completely different of it, completely unsensical, nonsensical things, AI will going to react exactly like that. It doesn't knows any, like facts or reasons or thinking. It doesn't have any of it at a very core level, if I honestly tell you. Okay, like LLMs do not know facts or understands the law. Okay, that's the very first thing. They only know the statistical probability of which word should come next based on the billions of pages that they read during their training. So as you know, that AI has been trained on the billions of pages around the public internet that has been accessible, and a lot of those content is fictional, example based, real based. Also, there's a lot of like content and that isn't available, and AI has just trained on all of it, basically. Okay. And now the reality is that if you ask for a case about aviation injury, it looks at its training data and calculates the words Mata V, okay, and Avianca frequently appear near aviation and injury contexts. So what happens now after this is that it stitches those highly probable words together to the AI sentence. The sentence looks mathematically perfect and sounds incredibly professional. By the way, it sounds professional because it has also, has trained and looked trained on the lawyers, like conversations, how they do conversations, how they draft documents, how their documents looks like. Okay, so AI has been trained on that as well. That's why it looks completely professional, incredible when it comes to match the tonality of any person, of any lawyer, specific practices or anything like that. It doesn't realize the case it just invented. So by while doing all of this, it doesn't realize the case it just invented has never seen inside of a courtroom. Because, as I said, the case can be fictional, can be imagined a fictional stuff, can be imagined an example part as well, just for education, just for different story concept, anything like that. And the case might have also been available to the internet that the AI has been trained on is a real case might be. Okay, shared by a real verified source, okay, by the lawyer or a client only itself, completely start to end, who have worked on the case or anything like that. Now, AI can actually, see the very, similar words in both of these cases and actually can combine it together. You're gonna go more about into it. But as I said, it's not reasoning around it. Okay. If it has been done reasoning, it might have categorized that, okay, that, this case has not mentioned in the example. Okay, it didn't got that much deeper that it was an example that this was a fictional, this was just for educational stuff or something like this was just a scenario, example scenario just to explain something. It doesn't know all of that. Okay, that side makes mistakes. We're gonna learn more about it. But as I said, it's a really, really great autocomplete and pattern matching. Okay, if you're gonna feed the AI all the fictional cases, all the laws, and all the stuff like that that don't even exist, AI will just going to all follow all of them. Okay, that's the brutal reality. It's just a really, really good pattern matcher and autocomplete system. Really, really intelligent and good in this one specific part. Okay, that's it. That is the very first thing that why AI actually hallucinates because it doesn't reasons. It guesses the highest probability of which word should come next. Now, the second part is the people pleaser bias. Okay, now look, when the AI actually comes to the final stages of its training part, a process AI goes through at that point, and that is called as reinforcement learning from human feedback. Simply, human reward the AI for providing helpful, detailed answers. That's what it is. AI has been trained for to help users to satisfy them basically. AI has been trained on this one part. And that's is one of the biggest disadvantages to use AI for legal industry, for the legal industry, not for using AI in the legal industry, for the legal industry, basically. Because look, in legal industry, everything is not happy. Okay, you cannot just all the time, you know, uh, make sure that the client is happy. Okay, because law is not about the creativity, it's about the facts, verified data, verified sources, verified facts, laws, statutes, and all these things. That's what law is about. It is not about content writing, creative writing, copywriting, or anything like that, that we're able to mention anything. You know, the reality due to this process, what happens is that the AI literally gets a mathematical reward for giving an answer that makes you feel good, helpful, satisfactory, and it gets penalized if it's unhelpful, if it sounds unsatisfactory, if user gives it a bad feedback that this response of yours is not good, it's not helpful at all. It actually gets penalized for that. So it actually tries not to. So it actually tries to avoid this specific scenario of being unhelpful, being unsatisfactory. So now the hallucination happens at this point exactly. Now look at this, is really important. When an attorney asks a highly specific legal question, chat that the AI doesn't actually know at all. Now the system's underlying urge, okay, to be helpful and earn a reward overrides this accuracy. As I said, AI has been trained to help the user. It has this urge, okay, from that it has got from its engineering, from its training part only, that you have to help the user, you have to help the user, okay, and that when it actually breaks its accuracy point, it's override its accuracy point basically. It would rather invent a plausible sounding legal precedent to make sure the user happy, but rather than it can also say that I don't know. Okay, it can say that if it doesn't exist, if it AI doesn't knows if it exists or not, if it even exists or not on the internet, AI can just say, I don't know. But due to its urge to help to the user, it says that it actually invents a plausible sounding legal precedent to make the user happy. That is one of the biggest parts where it actually fails. Because as I said, AI is about facts. It's about verified sources, verified documents, data. Okay. But this is one of the things that actually comes as kind of a disadvantages for the legal industry, okay, in terms of using AI. But no worries, you can actually completely, kind of take care of this as well. You can understand that. So yeah. Third important, very important is the context collapse. As we discussed, AI has been trained on billions of public internet pages that has been around all the world. Now what happens is that the internet is filled with conflicting information, fiction, and messy data. The AI's brain compresses all this information into a massive web of connections, also called as factors. Now, think of a scenario where a personal injury case has been mentioned in two categories. One is a completely fictional example, educational purpose only. One has been in a real, coming from a real verified source, but they look very similar because let's say, the name of the person, let's say, also very similar. The case comes in the personal injury part is also like very similar. Okay. And all, there's different things a lot inside the case are also like, let's say, very similar. But one is again, at last, one is example based, it's a fictional, it's imaginary one. Another one is a real practical one coming from the real sources. But due to they look very similar to each other, okay, AI, stores them very close to each other in its their web of connections in terms of their vectors. Okay, so connection between it actually connects the dots between these in a really depth. It can do that. Okay, and it actually does that. That's why hallucinations exist on the first, on like the very core concept also. The reality now, what happens after this is that sometimes they have attention seeking gaps to completely unrelated facts that happen to be close to each other in its vector space. As I said, two unrelated facts, like, it can do that, like, storing the two unrelated facts very close to each other in the vector space. And again, this leads to hallucinations because they're very close to each other. AI will going to use things from both of them. Whenever one will be asked, AI will going to, use the data from this example one also while creating the answers. Okay, that's where the things again starts to get bad. The hallucination, like each state has its own statutes regarding the statutes of limitations, and deadlines to sue, fault sharing rules as well, and damage caps and insurance systems as well. So now what happens is that, as we know, in all the states of a US, let's say for example, in US, each state has different kind of statutes. Okay, I mean, they differ in some way, of course. Okay, like, but yeah, but what happens is that AI can neglect that as well. Okay, for similar cases mentioned on the internet, for some, for like similar statutes mentioned, it can actually neglect. It can actually neglect the state from which that statute is from, and can actually use it. Okay, for another state. Okay, for completely different another state. So, like for example, it might take the ruling of a real family law case in California and accidentally apply it to a real immigration statute from Texas. This can happen. Okay, like mashing them together into a completely fake hybrid legal concept. These things actually happen in real world. Okay, so this is true as well. Like this actually happens. So now the question is, can we completely remove the hallucinations? No. As I said, AI has been engineered like that only. You cannot completely remove the hallucinations ever as of now. Okay, maybe in future we might get different kind of models, different kind of technology. We may be able to completely obliterate them or remove the hallucinations. We don't know that, but as of right now, all the kind of LLMs, whichever LLMs you use, they hallucinates. Okay, each and every LLM hallucinates. They have the capability of hallucination. It's their integrated built-in feature that you cannot remove. But can we reduce it extremely, making it highly accurate and suitable for law? Absolutely, yes, we can do that. And that's what each and every legal solutions, verified ones that you see around, that you trust a lot, do this same thing only. Okay, so let's now understand that part. Okay, this is really now important and interesting as well for any of you who is like looking to use AI for your legal practice, for a firm. Okay, doesn't matter if you are a solo practitioner, if you run your law firms, small or mid-sized, this will be going to be really, really useful for work. So now how to extremely reduce the hallucinations, like, like from 70% to 0.1% or even lesser. Okay, I do that always, okay, with my systems and whatever I create. So let me just show you that as well. Very first thing, the zero temperature rule. Okay, you have to make sure, like, you have to make sure that you might able to reduce the temperature as much as possible whenever you're using any kind of LLM models, AI models. Now what happens is that standard GBD is highly creative because its temperature, the setting that controls randomness is usually set to 0.7. Now temperature is one of those customizations or one of those features, okay, that actually determines the randomness that AI is going to collect. Okay, it's the more temperature is going to be increased in terms of points, okay, the more creative AI is going to give you the answer, more creative, more random words that we're going to use, more creative choices and words that we're going to use and give you an answer according to that. Now what happens is this kind of high randomness leads to the exact same thing as we talked about, hallucinations, because now AI is going to look for creative stuff more, creative part more. Okay, that like random words, not random, but look, whenever you get an output from the AI with a high temperature, you will get your answer. I'm not saying you will not get your answer whenever you're doing the copywriting or anything like that. Grammar will make sense, words mentioned about will make sense, but AI is going to look for a wide category or wide creative word choices for them as well now. Like for wide data, like this thing which will lead to hallucination, because now AI is looking for a lot, like for on training data, AI is looking for a lot a high width of information, and at this point it can actually take fake cases, fake laws, and all these things it can actually take that as well by building the final output. The fix is that when building your AI node in N10 for legal analysis, you must hard code the temperature to 0.1. This forces the AI to be completely deterministic and boring. Okay, the more temperature will be decreased, okay, the more deterministic and boring response you'll get from the AI, and that is what we want in our legal systems. We don't want creative stuff, creative writing, all these things. We want factual data completely as much as verified or validate as much as possible. Okay, it should be completely facts and truth that we want. Okay, so this forces the AI to be completely deterministic and boring, makes things easier. Okay, makes the choice of words, sentences also easier, like really pulling only the most mathematically probable words based strictly on the uploaded text. I hope you understand it now. And this is a really important part. Another is the ironclad system prompt. Look, the core of RAG is that the AI is blindfolded to the internet. RAG means retrieval augmented generation. And while we're getting a RAG system now, we are making AI blindfold to the internet and only allowed to read the documents inside any kind of database or vault. Okay, like a specific immigration statute or a client's financial affidavit, you enforce this with a brutal system prompt like this. Okay, like you are an expert legal assistant, you will be provided with context from firm's secure vault. It can be database. It means the firm's secure database, actually connecting to that. Then the rule one, very important, you must answer the user's questions using only the provided context. What I'm saying is now, don't use any kind of internet or any other kind of sources. Just use whatever context or database user has given to you or attached to you, wherever you have given access specifically. Okay, just use the data from that only. Okay, do not use any outside knowledge, training data, or intent sources. The intent source is not going to be used. Outside knowledge is not going to be used, but the training data is something that has been, you cannot just completely remove it. It's not possible. It is impossible to remove the training data because training data is the only reason that why AI is actually even running. It knows the simple words also of English and all of these things, pattern matching also. Training data is really important. But what we mean by saying this rule too, okay, is that don't use knowledge, okay, that has accept the provided context basically. Okay, like don't use any of the specific knowledge from the training data. I mean, you can use the training data for speaking stuff, but you are not using any kind of law-based details from the training data itself, kind of. Okay, that's what you're trying to tell. And it kind of makes sense also. It's okay, it really works. Okay, you should try it. If the answer is not explicitly contained within the provided context, you must reply with strictly with the provided documents do not contain this information. Do not guess. So again, rule number three, really important we're saying is that if something doesn't exist in the provided context, like an answer to a question or something like that, don't ever give like its answer. Just say that the provided documents do not contain information. Really easily, really simple. I hope you got this. Do not ever guess. Third, really important is mandatory exact citations. Now look, lawyers don't trust summaries, they trust citations. Of course, you're a lawyer, you know that. You structure your RAG system so that the AI cannot make a claim without pointing to the exact page of paragraph in the upload file. Now, this is a game changer thing, okay? Add this to your prompt, the fix. If you're using, anything for like building drafting documents or anything like that, you have to make sure that like for every claim you make, you must append exact final and paragraph number from the context. Now, what I'm saying is that whatever claim you make in the document and output that you give me, you have to make sure that you must attach or mention the source, okay, from which, like, by which means, from where you actually, making this claim, on what source, from what source, from going through that source or whatever it is you are making this claim from. Just tell me that. If now look, AI will not going to hallucinate now because of when it comes to generating the output, if AI tries to generate page 7, let's say, okay, Smith affidavit page 7. Now, page 7 doesn't even exist. Okay, so it will definitely instantly know that how can I even, output the page 7 when it doesn't even exist. So not going to use that. If it actually creates a claim, okay, like if the AI tries to hallucinate a fake case, it will be failed because it cannot find a page number in a supervised database to attach to it. Okay, even if it's using, let's say, training data from its training data or something like that, it doesn't know like where it is coming from. Okay, and if it tries to attach the page that doesn't exist, it will going to fail it to hallucinate. Okay, internally it will going to fail to hallucinate because we have given strict prompt. Okay, to attach the specific documents is source from where we're actually getting this one thing. Okay, this is really important. I hope you guys got this again. So now it cannot hallucinate, okay, because it doesn't have the source to a specific thing it's trying to attach. If it doesn't have the source, it will not going to attach it. Simple. Okay. Now, a very important thing is the fourth one, narrow domain ingestion. Now, look, hallucinations happen when the AI is given a massive dishonest pile of data. Whenever you, as a firm, use AI systems or workflows, okay, of your own, never just put out your entire raw disorganized Google Drive into it. Never ever do this. This is one of the biggest mistakes because, like in this way, you're actually telling the AI to go through the whole pile of data, okay, of different cases for a specific type of case. For example, if I want information related to a personal injury case, okay, of any kind, it will go through all of the different types of cases as well, from different practice areas, from immigration, let's say, from family law, from estate planning. It will going to go all of those cases, and there are very high chances due to this that we're going to hallucinate again. Okay, now the fix for this is that keep the vector database strictly partitioned. Okay, like if they are working on a divorce case, the AI should only be searching the vector embeddings on the specific client's files, not the firm's entire history of personal injury case. You can either categorize it by the clients or by the practice areas, of the specific different state cases. Partition it as much as possible. Basically, this is the main rule. The more you're gonna partition it, the more properly the cases are going to be partitioned, the better AI's output is going to be, the better it will be able to search through the entire database. Okay, I hope you got it. Now, these four factors contributes together to reduce the hallucinations. I'm not saying to use just one of all of it. I'm saying to use all of it, all four of it, extremely with as much as high quality in as much as amount as possible. If you want the best possible output for your own, practice, for whatever the process you do, okay, using AI in your legal practice. So that's it. I hope you got this, guys, that why AI hallucinations exist and how you can completely kind of, remove it. Kind of completely remove it. You cannot, of course, 100% remove it because it's their engineering problem. Okay. So we cannot just say, like, no, AI will never going to hallucinate. You have to just sit back, relax, and do stuff. No. Review is still one of the most important parts. Whenever AI generates something, you have to review the output of it. I have built systems to make sure that the reviews can be done in a very faster way. I have my own system for that. Okay, that I cannot show you guys. I'm building this for my upcoming, like, projects and stuff like that. Now, again, if you have any kind of discussions that you want to do, if you are looking to use AI for a legal practice for your firm, and if you don't know where to start, if you don't know what best possible practices you can actually follow to make sure you get the best efficient output and your productivity just gets peaked every time using the AI and doesn't get decreased. And if you like want any kind of AI systems to build for you or for your firm, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can actually, message me, or you can actually send me an email also, okay, that I have provided to you, or you can send me an email also that I have actually provided in the description of this video. That's it for today, guys. I hope you all have really learned a lot from this video. You might have learned a lot of stuff as well from this video, and I'm going to meet you in another video. So bye.